Buckshot Roulette is an indie horror game that was originally released on itch.io and then later brought to Steam with an update that added an endless game mode as well as extra items to the game. A twist on Russian roulette, where instead of using empty chambers and a revolver, we instead have a shotgun that's loaded with a random sequence of live and blank shells. Instead of being a luck-based game like regular Russian roulette, we also have a bit of strategy where we can use items to help identify shells in the shotgun to see if they're live or blank, heal back damage, or deal extra damage to the dealer. The horror elements come into play when you consider the setting of the game. You're in a VIP area of a club, way above where all the dancing and drinking is probably going on, and you're playing a game of roulette for a suitcase full of money against a guy with a really creepy smile who has a contract from God hidden within his suitcase. I would also add that it's pretty unnerving to point a shotgun at yourself in first person, as well as the game's ability to cut out the audio and sound as soon as a shotgun blast triggers, either self-inflicted or pointed at you from the dealer. Now, besides the setting of the game and the premise of the game, the graphics and the art style definitely lend itself to helping with the horror vibe that the game kind of creates. The graphics are extremely crunchy. I don't know how else to describe it, but everything looks rough, dark, edgy, rusted, bled over. There's deep shadows and a kind of cool effect with the colors where they are heavily dithered. I don't know how to quite describe it, but it's where like a lot of pixels kind of bleed from the edges of everything, so things kind of blend together in a weird way, but it definitely makes things look very gnarly and very dirty. So it feels like you're playing roulette in this back alley, secret, behind the scenes dealing that is probably not legal and is definitely going to lead to someone dying and someone having to cover it up. Probably someone who's done this once or twice before. There isn't a whole lot of story added to the game around it, so you kind of have to pick pieces together and kind of make it up in your head as you go. But this is the kind of the feeling and setting that the game creates between the art style and just the premise of playing roulette with a shotgun for a suitcase of money. In Buckshot Roulette, you actually have a health bar, because for some inexplicable reason, you and the dealer can somehow survive multiple shotgun blasts, and over the course of the endless game mode, you can survive multiple shotgun blasts, either through cigarettes, which is an item that can recover health for you, or through some unexplained mechanics of blood transfusions and defibrillators and some sort of machine that gets cut off in the story mode. So putting reality aside and getting back to the gameplay mechanics, both players start with the same amount of life, they get a random assortment of items, not necessarily the same types of items, and a random order of live and blank shells are loaded into the gun. You get to see the total number of shells loaded, plus which ones are live and which ones are blank. Live ones are colored red, blank ones are colored blue. The player gets to go first, and you can use as many items as you want on your turn. Just keep in mind that the devil can then use as many items as he wants on his turn. If all the shells are fired or ejected without anyone dying, then a new batch of items will be given out, and then the player gets to go first again. Now, in the story mode, at the final round, you're going to lose the ability to heal. And everything goes into this kind of like fighting on the edge of life and death, where you each are down to, I think, 2 or 3 lives left, and whoever survives wins. Now, beating the game once unlocks that double or nothing mode, which is an endless mode where after 3 rounds you have a chance to double your score. The score seems to be random. I don't know what values it assigns to whatever you do, so I'm not sure if there's a way to farm it to try to get a better value, if it's less number of shells fired or less health taken or less rounds taken. But what's kind of cool is that there's a high score, and you can compare the high score to your friends on Steam and a global leaderboard and this, that, and the other. The double or nothing game mode also gives a random amount of shells, health, and items, so each round is slightly different. So not every round is 2 health and then 3 health and then 4 health. Sometimes you go 4-2-2, 3-2-2, 3-2-4, and the items are all completely different each time you go through. So the music of this game really only stood out to me just because of how repetitive it is. The DJ of the club only has one track and he just blasts it constantly. And it's only muffled to you because you're playing this game of roulette way up and above where all the dancing and drinking supposedly is going on. You don't actually see any of the other rave goers, but someone's got to be playing music for someone down there, right? But I don't mind the music being so repetitive because it allows the sound effects of the game to pull through and really steal the show, especially the sound effects around the shotgun. This is the core gameplay element of Buckshot Roulette, and they got the sound effects down right. Everything from loading the shotgun to ejecting a shell when you drink a beer can to shooting the dealer and getting shot and having that sound all cut out real suddenly on you right before you get brought back to life. I also really like the sound effects around the items in the game. Everything from the satisfying pop of the beer can to the frenzied sawing off the barrel with the handsaw, also to the magnifying glass with its glass shattering and the satisfying thunk of it going into the wood. This gives every item a distinct sound cue so that way you know something is happening in the game, which is also why I don't necessarily mind the background track of the game being repetitive and quiet, so that way everything related to the game stands out to you and gets caught by your ear and lets you know that something important is happening, whether it's related to playing multiple items in a turn or someone taking their turn with a shotgun. My initial impression of the game was I thought it would be really dark and really horror with a lot of focus on gore and blood because you're trading shotgun shells with a devilish character that has a lot of teeth, and then just the kind of like dark and gritty graphics just kind of adding to that on my initial pass of the game and making me think, okay, this is going to be horrible. I'm not going to enjoy this at all. But I actually came out liking this game a lot because of the focus on the strategy and planning aspects of the game. Trying to figure out how you're going to win each round, how you're going to survive each round, and keeping count during the rounds of how many shells are live or blank, and then seeing how lucky you and the devil character get on each of your rounds. Now, there are moments of frustration where it feels like you just get never lucky, you're always unlucky, the devil character's always lucky, and it makes sense, he's the one loading the shells, he's probably got a little bit of insider knowledge that he's using against you. But there's also some moments of hilarity where the devil character will probably be 100% confident that the last shell in the shotgun is blank, point it at himself, pull the trigger, and blow himself away and give you a little bit of a lead. So I think the game is a lot of fun. For $3 on Steam, it's really hard to find a pretty enjoyable game for that price. It's not like an asset rip or something that's going to be, real quick, playthrough of a story with not a whole lot of replayability. The endless game mode is a lot of fun, trying to raise your score as high as possible, compare it versus your friends. The developer has plans to add a multiplayer patch in the future, so I think this could be a fun game to play with friends in the future. I would like to actually do a Buckshot Roulette tournament if that actually happens. That could be a fun little thing to do. So yeah, I think for $3, it's a little bit hard to pass this game up. This guy's already added updates, taking it from itch to Steam, which added a whole bunch of items and the endless game mode. So I think there could be more updates in the future. I'm also excited to see what else this guy could create in the future. Hey guys, that does it for my review of Buckshot Roulette. Thank you so much for watching this far if you made it to this part of the video. I want to give a special thank you to Rave Sage for gifting the game to me. I probably would have passed over this game without him gifting it to me, so thank you for doing that and making me play it on stream. I had a lot of fun with it. The game was not as creepy as I thought it was from my first glance. So I want to give a huge shout out to all the channel members helping support the channel and encouraging me to keep making videos and streams. If you want to become a channel member, it's only $5 a month and helps support me greatly. If you also want to help support me, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. I try to live stream 3 times a week. I play a variety of games with a focus on strategy and role-playing games. And I try to make monthly videos or reviews just like this one. So if you want to see more videos, you can subscribe and check them out. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I look forward to seeing you in the next stream or video. Bye-bye for now.